trees, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults? This price for teenagers. And this for kids. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Still, Misaka, and Nemum was a summer brabo, and it can afford Swabrabo.
Misaka pensions, Carol.
Misaka order Sika.
Misaka insurance.
Misaka loan.
Momo Fogusuri ye echumaden, the aboye nina ye sika humpain. Se NTN, ana momo jumaye ni befrewa, or the 0244 300,000 ene befrew. Ne numpo orin bitsaw one-time password, ana se upin code. Enti wonso ye wa femu die na ma weni na ho na wonsa enka omumu.
No matter where we wander, Africa always calls us home. And here in Ghana, Stanbic Corporate and Investment Banking, together with clients like Gensa Energy and Goldfields, is driving sustainable growth.
The transition from fossil fuel to cleaner energy is quite imperative for the growth of a continent that we call home.
We want to contribute to delivering affordable gas for industrialization in Africa.
Stanbic is a bank that is focused on impacting lives, and Gensa has the same vision and mission.
Having a reliable source of power has helped our business and our operations in a significant way.
At Stanbic Bank, we bring businesses together, empower communities, and invest in the next generation. Stanbic Corporate and Investment Banking, driving growth, creating impact.
You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. And thank you also very much. As we understand, you're really enjoying this program. The other thing I discover is that, for example, I've received a number of questions. And because I have read the report, I know those questions shouldn't be asked. But that's fine. Our job is that we do all the heavy lifting, and then we break it down for you. So there are people who are asking certain questions. If they click on the report, they will see the answers right there. So again, when you are framing the question, you may frame it as exploratory rather than criticism, because you can criticize something you don't know about. And the thing you are criticizing has actually been done, And that's what I said about the earlier time when I said, immediately they presented their report, I heard some people started talking and they hadn't read the report. I'm like, oh, how? Victoria Bright is international corporate lawyer and entrepreneur. Oliver Barker-Vomawo is constitutional rights and policy strategy advisor, Democracy Hub. He was a pivotal part of the Professor Fiajo report of 2011, that 1,000-page report. Professor Bafo Ajimendria is former UN Senior Governance Advisor, Inusa Hussaini, is former MP, Tamale Central, and former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. When we talk about constitution review processes in this country, he is always there, in there. Like they spoke about Aiko Otu, who had become like a live member, even though he wasn't a member of the committee. You find Inusa doing that, particularly also with the, sometimes I want to ask whether I should call it the Chairman Sambonsu or the Clara Berry, but it was the Chairman Sambonsu Clara Berry Committee because he set it up as a minister and they raised the issues about it should have been set up by the presidency, you know. So Nana Ejay Bafo is Vice Chair, Subsidiary Legislation Committee and Member, Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. I'm sure in his preliminary comment you would have heard him talking about very substantive matters and talking about history in a way that you would have loved it. So these are people who are deeply read about these subject matters and are commenting about them. So let me share just a couple of your messages and then we will continue from there. This one, Dr. Albert says that if you resign from the legislature, we will be saddled with the cost of organizing by-elections just because you want to be in the executive. So I'm happy with the proposal they have made now. You can only be an MP, you can't be a minister and an MP at the same time. And if you resign so that you get that job, sorry, we are not going to entertain you. Yakubu Ibn Chambers says, my upbeat assessment of the final report of the Constitution Review Committee is that the report explores the true feelings of the citizens, and it is an excellent exercise to rebrand Ghana. The only single chapter that shattered the beauty of the recommendations. Oh, shattered the beauty of the recommendation. Take that single one out and let's deal with that. Is the extension of the term of the president from 4 to 5 years. Why now? Why not then? I sense a certain chronic gratification of power here. Yakubu Ibn Chambers in Wale Wale. So if you are joining the train, if you are joining the suspicious train that says that this is intended to give President Mahama another period, please exercise yourself of it. Everything in this review will be done post Mahama. He is not supposed to enjoy from anything that is being done. Professor Douglas says that, okay, so he says, my heartfelt congratulations to Professor H.K.C. Prempeh and the entire CRC for putting forward such bold, forward-looking and development-oriented proposals. They reflect courage, foresight, and a deep commitment to the long-term future of our nation. Even if only half of these recommendations are implemented, their impact would be transformational, strengthening institutions, inspiring confidence, and laying a durable foundation for sustainable progress for generations to come, especially for the unborn African child. So he signs off as Engineer Professor Douglas Boating. Thank you very much for your comments and contributions as well to Newsfile. Then Edubuahin says that I agree with those against the extension of the 4 years term. The opposition should learn how to form shadow governments. So when elected, appointing ministers become quick. We should bear in mind that we haven't had exceptional leaders in the Fourth Republic across board. Just imagine 10 years of Akufo-Addo. Really, do we have such short memories? 4 years term is more than enough for a good leader. What has been, what has to be removed is the indemnity clause. Okay, so the indemnity clauses, when you have to you indemnify them after they've left power after 2 years, right? Is it 3 or 3?
Currently.
Now they are giving it up to 4 years. Have you seen that recommendation? You're okay with it? 4 years, but civil proceedings can go on. You can be sued, but not a criminal process. What do you say about that?
No, I mean, I wanted the criminal to be removed as well. There's no statute of limitations for crime. Jurisdiction. So they have aligned the civil with what exists within the civil. If it expires, it expires. So I would have been more okay with removal.
So if you leave power today, we can come after you because you can't account for something.
Yes, it doesn't matter how long. I mean, the same way if I committed a crime in 82, that they can still come back for me and look for me. I think that's...
And in fact, Samson, the Constitution...
But if you want to do that, is 4 years not enough? If after 4 years you can't prosecute, you can't bring somebody, investigate somebody or prosecute them, then you don't mean to prosecute them.
But even Samson, if you look at the Constitution carefully, there is no prohibition against investigating a sitting president for the commission of a crime. There's no such. So a sitting president can be investigated for the commission of a crime.
But you see,
so you simply do not have to give him indemnity for 4 years.
Okay, so Samson, an investigation may lead to prosecution. And so you don't need an indemnity against investigation. It is enough that the Constitution creates a limitation on the duration within which the president, that's right, that takes care of the investigation. Because investigation, as I said, lead. But Samson, I think it's the way we treat our presidents. We should begin to look at the president as a trustee. And so a trustee should be accountable. And so if a trustee is going to be accountable, within which period? Because we also need to create a balance, taking into account our sociological circumstances, that somebody can be mischievous with that power. And so within what time frame can we possibly do an investigation and also do a prosecution? I suspect that once the prosecution has started, then there wouldn't be a time frame within which the prosecution should come to an end. And so it will not cover an ongoing prosecution.
I suppose you are speaking to one of the recommendations they have made.
That's right.
And I was one of those who made those proposals. It looks like there was popularity for it, and they have done it. That we cannot be investigating forever and we cannot be prosecuting forever. There must be timelines to how we do these things. And it's not like novel to Ghana.
Yes. And so I think that once you assume public office, you should be ready to account for your stewardship.
That is
but our public office cannot be treated.
Nobody wants to account
honorable.
for anything.
The central proposition of any democracy is that the powers of government will be exercised for the benefit of the people.
Yes.
And so it's a trust relationship. The central proposition is a trust relationship. It's not that we are not seeing a president as a trustee. That is the proposition of a democracy. That the people in whom power is vested, give that power to elected officials to exercise it on their behalf. It's a trust relationship.
You guys need to hear this. Prince Bless says, my questioning is in regards to the proposed presidential term from 4 years to 5 years. Why not 7 years fixed term once, just as is being done for the independent constitutional bodies? Remember, Professor Fiajo said, give them 10 years. I think the other group came and said, give them a fixed term. This group also comes and says, give them a fixed term. Why don't we do the same thing for the president as well? Just come in and do 1 year and go away.
Yes, and go away.
Yes.
One term.
Why don't we also see the 4-year term as a midterm elections of the president? So if you are doing well, you are given 4 years.
Okay.
If you are not doing well, you are kicked out. Why do you want to be saddled with a president who is not doing well for 7 years and we don't have the right to say that you are not doing well?
What about the president is doing very well and everybody is happy with the president?
So we give him 4 years. So the 4 years is a midterm elections. It's a midterm
temperature check.
Temperature check.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I think that the current situation, the status quo, for me works.
I'll read this message from an Army General, and we will proceed for your submissions to continue. an important question for today. The committee recommends that the CDS should be appointed based on the recommendations from the Armed Forces Council. However, the membership of the Armed Forces Council remains intact it's part of the concern that Bafo was raising about the Judicial Council. But they have explained to us that this is only the summary and that in the full report, we will get to know the mechanics. I don't know if, like Oliver's time, what they did not only have all the background, they actually also did the draft instruments. So if we are going to amend a particular provision, they give you the draft amendment that you are going to use. So you know in clear terms what they want to do. So it says it remains intact. Based on the Constitution, the President or his representative chairs the Council. Other key members of the Council are the Ministers of Defense, Interior and Foreign Affairs. Others include the CDS, Army Commander, Chief of Navy, and Chief of Air Staff, among others. This is the body that is to recommend who should be the CDS to the President. I think that unless the Armed Forces Council is reconstituted, then the recommendation process for the CDS will be flawed. All right, so Prof. Prempe, I'm sure they are listening. Just in the same way as was said about the Judicial Council, you need to change that Judicial Council, reduce the members who are representing the president on that board, to be sure that if you are doing it, and then Samson, this is long ago, but I'll try. Samson Frederick Gura says that I perfectly agree with Honorable Inusa. The problem the Constitution Review Committee sought to fix by proposing the extension of the term is not a legal or constitutional issue. It is a people problem and an attitudinal one. 4 years is enough as a term if we are serious as a nation. Why do we have a situation where the next election campaign begins immediately after the swearing-in ceremony of a president? JM is barely done with the first year of his second term, yet in his own party, people are campaigning to succeed him. What time do we have to build a nation? The MPP is campaigning to elect their next flag bearer in January 2026. Again, what time do we have to build the nation? I think the CRC proposed timelines for campaigning, and I think that will be helpful. We should just change our attitude as a people. Everything should not be about politics. Why reduce the age of qualification for the president from 40 to 30 and not cap the age at which a person cannot be president? Why risk having a president at 90 years if we don't put an upper limit? Okay, so maybe that too has not come to mind. Yeah. We should put an upper limit so that we don't have... we have seen some places, they are literally being... Yeah. They can't do anything, they want to be president. What happens to these people? Yeah. Musa Abatua says that the Constitution Review Committee has done a remarkable work and deserve commendation. However, my only point of departure is the proposal to extend the presidential term to 5 years. Okay, this is a big problem for many people. And again, why, Oliver? Many people are looking at these. Meanwhile, the report is enormous with various other sectors of the society.
Now, you see, when you're putting out the document, you always have to gamble as to what it is going to do the heavy lifting for the document. And so when you have, for instance, and that was the conversation around, even for us, for Article 71, there are certain things that are so popular with the public that if you gave that to them, the vast majority of people would not read the report, but would have a feeling of goodwill towards the report just because there was something that reflects something that is of significance. So I think that's kind of what we are caught in this conversation, that we can see that the public debate around this is that we're not very keen on the 5 years, and for which reason it is coloring the way in which they're viewing the document. But I think that there's a lot more there. And one of the good things as well is that the conversations around the change in terms of how they want to do this, that if we agreed for how they want to amend the Chapter 25 and we go for a referendum on only that, the question is kicked to Parliament to debate it and whether or not they approved that change to the 5 years. So it doesn't solve the issue. They must approve it by 75% of parliamentarians voting in favor of that change. So I think that practically, I think that would struggle to even go through. But if that doesn't go through, it doesn't mean that all the other things will not get play. But yeah, that's
I'm hearing you suggest that the innovative amendment procedures that they are introducing, if we got that and took that to a referendum, and we got that passed at the referendum, the rest of the entrenched provisions that have to be dealt with, you will not have a problem because a good number of them will be dealt with by Parliament. You don't need to go to a referendum.
Absolutely.
And the problem is that, like your report, you had over 41 or so of the proposed amendment being entrenched provisions, which brought the problem. Are you going to go to the people one by one for 41 times for a referendum? You can't do that in a day.
Absolutely. No. And that's one of the things they're hoping for, is that there's a lot of horse trading that is going to happen within Parliament itself. Because when you take the Chapter 25, the amendment procedure to referendum, that's it. If the people vote in favor of that, all the changes must go through Parliament.
Okay.
Every conversation, every discussion must go through Parliament. The only innovation they introduce an innovation here is the inbuilt requirement that Parliament must have road shows, which is the town halls, which are integrated into the amendment procedure. That doesn't exist within the non-entrenched provisions currently now. So as far as this is concerned, once the people approve, all the discussion, all the changes go through Parliament. It's just different thresholds within Parliament. So the minority then can say, this is what, in fact, in my opinion, makes the minority very powerful, irrespective of how small they are.
That's right.
Because there's no way you can be able to meet the thresholds that is required for amendment without the minority being a part of
a referendum. For a referendum.
Also for a referendum. For the changes that has to happen. 75%.
Yes,
it's 75% for the bulk of the recommendations. Meaning that there's no way the NDC alone can run roughshod and say we are changing everything without them. And in fact, even for the non-entrenched where they need to 66, well, you're not going to get, though if you're going to go your own way on those ones, then we're not going to give you critical changes for the ones where you require 75. This is the horse trading I'm talking about, that there has to be a lot of compromise that has to come in terms of how...
So my next question to you is that from where you sit and the benefit of what you have done before, is it possible to have this done and dusted in 2026?
I think absolutely.
It's possible?
I think it's absolutely possible. I mean, you have 6 months for the entrenched part. You have six months from publication in the Gazette to when the question can be put, and then the timeline for voting. We can vote in December next year. But throughout this process, you can kickstart the process for the non-entrenched elements of that. You can have the bill, you can have the discussions, you can have a certain consensus built around several of the things. But I think to be more realistic, I think we need about 18 months window. But if you really want to fit them within 2026, you can fit them within 2026.
Prof, are you fatigued? We've gone back and forth. And from the voices that are coming up, do you get a sense that this is the one report that you will have minority and majority rally around and not give us too much problem? And the conversations that if we lose it now, we may have lost it forever because of the fact that President Mahama is in a peculiar place. He will superintend it but not benefit.
That's right.
He's in an advantage position.
Precisely.
Parliament, you also have a majority that can do the non-entrenched provisions without problems, so to speak, even though they should still be consensus.
Right. You see, this report could not have come at a better time. Because it seems to me, from all angles, this is it. Most of these proposals, but we've been making advocacy for it for years.
True.
So they are not new to us. The problem has been the political courage with which the executive will lead this. Even the first one, the Fiajo proposals, you know that the executive kind of was not too certain, changing certain proposals that were even more popular than other things. This time around, I think, first, by the nature of the composition of the committee, I think people have expressed some trust in the people who put it together, one. So there's some credibility to the committee itself. Two, the president has shown real interest, commitment. And as you just said, he's not going to benefit from it. It's just like Amika Cabral used a term some decades ago, committing class suicide. In other words, you have the power, and somebody is telling you, I'm going to take it away. You see it going to slide away, and all you do. So yes, I agree. The power should leave my hands. And that's what I see Mahama's position to be. And that's advantageous to us. So I think this time around, after 3 or so attempts, and everybody will agree that after 30 years of moving on with a constitutional review, this is the time.
Politicians are selfish. Is he going to be thinking about he, as a man with credibility, wanting this for the future and as a legacy? And is he able to do that without his party's support? His party people are going to say, you're going to let them elect MMDCs. Yes. This is the place that we will put our own people there. Yes. You're going to lose the power to appoint XYZ. This is where we will put our party people when they struggle to give us power. We don't allow these things to happen. How to appoint Chief Justice and judges. And you're going to lose control over it. You know, all of these things.
Samson, again, we make a very powerful point here. And again, that brings to mind the situation in Mexico decades ago in the 60s. There was one political party that had been in power for about 40 years. They got a president who said, look, I'm going to ensure we change this system because this system is retarding progress. The party opposed, he championed it. And in fact, he knew he would lose the upcoming elections. But for the sake of the nation, he moved on and lost the elections. And now Mexico has a thriving democracy. So in the same way, I want to think that President Mahama may see himself as that. They are going to lose a lot if they don't manage it well. But if you are placing the nation, the interests of the people ahead, then why do you worry about losing power in that respect? If you believe strongly that what you are going to give to the nation will be an enduring and vibrant and progressive democratic system.
So Bafa, I'll come to you. Relax a bit for me, you and Inusa. Vicky, there's already this political talk going on, partisan talk going on. The 1992 Constitution was given to us by NDC, so to speak. Another, constitution from an electoral democracy to a developmental democracy is going to be given to us by NDC. Some celebration. Then you hear some people say, this is why the NPP should have pursued some of these vigorously and give us these kinds of legacies.
Yes, I mean,
It's going to create problems for the two parties, right? I'm not supporting you, not on the value, but because you are going to take credit for it.
But if a party is not supporting another party, so I guess in this case we only have two, right? If MPP decides not to support NDC because of partisan views or party political stances or views or whatever, then obviously it will not be a good thing for us. I would like to think that the parliamentarians can rise, in certain situations, can rise above their own party political stance. And this thing concerns the Constitution of the Republic. It is not a small exercise.
The NDC, the party people, this is the way they are thinking. They have benefited and they are going to exit, and supposing the NPP wins power, it doesn't have the opportunity to do the things it would have done for its own members, put them in all over the places on boards and things. It won't be able to do it again. But the NDC has enjoyed it.
Yes, but isn't that why we are in the quagmire we're in as a nation? I mean, we are where we are because of all these nepotistic appointments and appointing people who, frankly, some of these people have no business being where they are. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. So you end up in a situation where very few are appointed through a real meritocracy. And most people, or a lot of people, a good portion of people are appointed purely because of these kinds of things that you're talking about, Samson. And it's killing us as a nation. It really is killing us. So if we are now moving from this situation into a situation where we can now be poised for developing our nation, because the systems and the structures that are now being put in place and being protected constitutionally will enable us to do so, then we should do so. You know, if we keep looking at, oh, they've just appointed, 2,000 people and they could put this one there, these people followed me in my campaign and I had to reward them and all that. If we keep looking at life in that way, we will never progress as a nation. Never.
Sir, you were saying there shouldn't be a white paper. Is that what you are suggesting?
Oh, yes. I think
these projects are always terminate with a white paper.
First of all,
my question only is, if we agree that the project is the collective will of the people, how dare the executive, a few of them, come and cherry pick, oh, we want this, we don't want that, this one, do it a different way. Professor Fiajo's report. Yeah. For example, they suggested that, and there are low-hanging stuff in this report, so people are not paying attention yet. They suggested that the detention period, which is 42 hours, that it should be brought to 24 hours. It's not new to Ghana, but the white paper said, no, let's keep it at 42 hours, 48 hours, 2 days. The DC elections, they brought the report, then they said, the white paper said, oh, let's do it this way. Yeah. Let the president be the one to nominate X number of people to be voted for. So it's the same that the president people you are going to vote for.
So Samson, I mean, these examples you are giving gives us a clear indication why the Fiajo report could not be implemented. It lost credibility in the eyes of Ghanaians. Because they are going around sampling the views of Ghanaians on what should be done to our constitution. And Ghanaians gave them the views. They synthesized the views and produced recommendations. Then somebody was now pretending over the recommendation. That's why we should learn from that experience. That let's give these recommendations that have come out, democratic legitimacy. And how do we do that? We send it back to the people. Give the recommendations to the people. We are now debating some aspects of the recommendation. And our debate and commentary will inform how people react. Yeah. So you are giving it some democratic legitimacy. Secondly, Fiajo's was a commission established under the Constitution, which said that the government will issue a white paper. That's what the Constitution says. No, this is a committee. Yeah. It's not a commission. This is a committee. So you don't need to import the provisions of the provisions of the Constitution to define and inform how the president acts in this particular case. This is a committee.
In interpretation, the committee commissions are not exactly different when it comes to the need for a white paper. It's only the powers they assume that are different.
What I'm saying is that, yes, or interpretation, but this is a committee. And the committee...
No. Let me intervene.
Yes.
Because the difference is not, it's not only in the name, whether it's a commission of inquiry or not, but whether or not it was set up under the Constitution.
Yes.
It wasn't. The Fiajo one was set up under
the Constitution.
So there was a constitutional obligation to publish a white paper.
Yeah. Okay.
In this case, it wasn't.
It doesn't.
And so it's a matter of choice whether or not you want to react to. But if in fact there's no need to do that.
Yeah, there's no need to do that.
Okay. Actually, the president...
So let's do this quickly. Do you expect that there should be a white paper? Oliver, do you expect a white paper?
My position before was that there shouldn't be. But now, I think that a white paper can intervene to enhance the credibility, which is that if looking at the extent of the recommendations that were made, people are bogged down by the question of 4 or 5 years, I would issue a white paper and say the president does not agree with a 5-year extension, but we are endorsing the entirety of the report.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes,
that for me would want.
Should there be a white paper?
I think that the government should react to it. And if it has to react to it by white paper, nothing stops it. Because in my view, there are several other proposals here which should not be part of a constitution. I'll give you an example. For instance, there's a proposal that says that there should be time limit for investigations that, cannot be addressed in
investigations of criminal for criminal prosecution.
Exactly. But look, even as I go on, let me say this. When I said that I historically had the appetite for constitutional amendment, but now I hold a different view, you seem to have said that it was contradictory. No, I qualified it. I said that my position has been moderated by age, experience that I've had.
Okay, just like President Akufo-Addo.
Sure.
When he was foreign minister, I was with him once at the airport in Kumasi, and he said the constitution has to be overhauled.
Yes,
that's the word.
Subsequently, he was so against the overhauling.
The challenges that come with the amendment itself should tell you that an amendment should not be an easy meal. The challenges that come, it tells you that an amendment is not meant to be a walk in the park. Look, my brother made a proposal as to how we can approach this by amending Article 25. I'm concerned about that. Look at what's happening in Togo, right? Gradually, they took away the fetters. And the next thing is that now they are restricting the way to elect their president. Now it's restricted to the Parliament of Togo. And so I'm always guided by...
But it's not a wholesale. Because the core foundations of the Constitution, they say it ought to be left as entrenched, requiring a referendum.
No, Samson, I'm only giving you why I'm always careful from experience. The Bible says that when I was a child, I thought like a child. But when I became an adult, I've had a lot of experience in the last 7-10 years. And it's giving me a different perspective. Look, all that we are saying, we look at this, it's on paper, it's beautiful. Some of them are beautiful. But we forget that it's aspirational, right? That this is going to lead us here, this is going to lead us there. But I look at what is here and what has worked elsewhere. We are talking about decoupling parliament from the executive.
Right.
Go to the United Kingdom. Over 300 years of democracy, executive, parliament married together. Okay,
you don't need to cite that example.
I'm coming.
So when Montesquieu was writing about separation of powers, he did not think that Britain was a good example of separation of powers.
Wait.
And separation of powers is
strongly in our constitution. You see, separation of powers, as we have come to know it and learnt in our constitutional law class, is an academic study.
It is not.
Wait, what is in practice and has delivered jobs, has delivered housing, has reduced corruption, right? Has delivered health care to the people. A classic case is Britain. 300 years of democracy. Almost every appointee, almost every appointee is a member of parliament. Wait, wait, you allow me to finish. No. I'm giving you an example. Go to Singapore. Singapore is your class. Wait. But I'm giving you examples.
No, these are
my brother, wait. Even the Prime Minister is part of Parliament.
It's a Prime Minister.
Wait, what doesn't stop anything? What does it change?
It's a different architecture.
Wait.
We tried it and we jettisoned it.
Something. If my
okay, go.
Look, what are we looking for? What problem are we looking to solve? We are looking at oversight, right? The Westminster system, government collapses within a year. Oversight.
Within a week.
Oversight. The height of oversight. The backbench, so powerful. Today, as we sit here, for close to 6 months, Keir Starmer has been sitting on tenterhooks. He's afraid his government is going to collapse any day. Does it happen in America? It doesn't. Where there is a clear separation of powers, it doesn't. Yet I'm saying that in Britain, executive, legislature married together.
The people and the culture is also important,
Wait,
right?
I'm coming. I'm coming.
It's not the people and the culture. It's the system.
I am coming. I am coming. What do you want?
No.
So I will tell you that from my experience, a lot of the things we are discussing in terms of ensuring parliamentary oversight, we can do them with the standing orders of parliament to ensure proper oversight.
This parliament?
Wait, Samson, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Samson, what you need, okay, this parliament, let's stay there, this parliament. So there's clear separation of powers with this parliament. What do you expect from it? That it can oversee and scrutinize the executive, this parliament? That's your question. This parliament. And so if it is...
Yeah, but you're arguing against yourself here. Because
no, I'm not. I am not. He is saying that this parliament, supposing that, even with proper tweaking of the standard orders, it is not fit to ensure proper...
No, you were referencing Britain. And what my point about them is that they don't even have a written constitution.
Yet
they have customs that they have built over time.
Yet it works.
And it works for them.
Yet it works.
Okay? But here, we have a written constitution. We can't even seem to... We abuse it. So the people make bad or good a constitution.
So what you have...
The fundamental misconception.
Right.
Samson, go to Singapore.
No.
It's not a simple...
It's a fundamental misconception.
No, it is not.
I need them to make their interventions.
But if I don't
Vicky, everybody else has their hands up.
Yeah. Something if I don't finish, my point...
You're not going to finish.
Why? If you go to Singapore...
I get wrong example.
Every minister...
It's the wrong example.
Why is this wrong example?
Because the system is different.
Exactly. So that is why I am saying...
Now you compare...
If you choose the Ghanaian system, I'll tell you why Ghana system wouldn't work. I'll tell you in 1 minute. He knows that it will be difficult for the parliament, for the party in parliament to go against the executive. He knows. Because the partisanship is so strong that he wouldn't want to do anything that will lead to collapse of his party. 2, he knows that the executive president, because he has the resources.
Oliver is saying your arguments are self-defeating.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm telling you that the proposal of decoupling the executive from parliament is not self-defeating if it's listening well. I'm giving you if it is the objective that we want to ensure proper oversight, I've given you instances where the executive is fully together with the legislature, but there's oversight. And you have raised the question as to whether this parliament can do it. And I'm saying that if we have the right standing orders, parliament be able to do it. Okay. But be that as it may, in my conclusion, the point is that, Samson, if you are not careful, right, we'll be chasing the utopia to destroy ourselves. Because he knows that the executive, if he realizes that if you're a parliamentarian and you are not for him, the next thing you will lose your seat. He knows, because the executive has the resources. He controls national security. And so what we are chasing, we may not be able to achieve them with the decoupled parliament. Prof.
Oliver and Vicky all want to say something.
Yes.
So let me start from Oliver, because he was making a direct contradiction to him. Okay. Meanwhile, Kwame Sapon says that on the issue of total separation of powers, understand the MP. Turkeys don't vote for Christmas. Show me one broiler chicken. Happy Thursday was broiler. Merry Christmas.
No, you see, and I've heard this argument so many times about the fact that when you go to the UK system, members of parliament are also part of the executive, and yet it functions. But one of the things we have done with this hybrid system is that we've essentially taken the worst of both worlds and married them. Because the reason why that system functions is because of the fact that parliament can collapse a government. And for which reason the government is perpetually tied to Parliament's vote of no confidence. In this case, we don't have it. It doesn't exist at all. In fact, within the current constitution, if Parliament votes on to censure a minister, the president doesn't need to remove the minister.
Now they have improved that. And they say when that happens, that minister should go.
A proposal. Yeah. So as the current Parliament exists now, all the things that made the system work in other parts have been taken away. When we went back to 69, the contemplation in 69 was that we're going to have a president, and certain institutions were tied to the president, which were considered to be guarantors of the democracy. So whether it's the NCC or all those things were tied to the presidency, separate from the government. Yeah. Because there was a distinction between what formed the government and what was the presidency. Yeah. When we came to this from 79 and like this, we collapsed all of that into one body. And so essentially we have built a system where all the processes that allow Parliament to be able to control even an executive that exists, the idea that a Liz Truss can come in and within 3 weeks loses it, none of that exists now. Now you're saying that, okay, let us keep that system in place. But somehow what the Constitution cannot achieve by making Parliament own up to that power, we can do so by Parliament doing that through its own standing orders. How would the standing orders going to work?
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof.
I think Oliver has said it more brilliantly than I can say, because the comparison that we're making with the British system, it's not the British system. Even Singapore is not our kind of system. Singapore has a special system for its own context, and they have developed the discipline with which they function. So they don't even have exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's a wrong comparison that I think you have.
They don't have it.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah.
They can come, but I cannot come.
Because you spoke for quite a while, and I allowed it for a purpose.
They kept interrupting.
Yeah, but it makes the conversation beautiful. It's a conversation we are having.
Should be a fundamental question.
Yes, you have made that point.
Fundamental question. And it's oversight. And I'm giving you examples.
Oversight.
It's not. It's not simply about. It's not.
Give you another example.
There's one thing I share with Bafo, though, which Pollard Moshri continues to insist. I suppose he made a presentation to this committee as well, where there can be a question time, where the president must show up in Parliament.
Like in South Africa.
That is a parliamentary system.
That's what you don't have. I agree.
Even South Africa.
That's a different system.
Even South Africa. The president is in Parliament.
Taking questions. That's correct. That's right.
In South Africa.
I agree with that. Yes, okay. In fact, that brings me to one of the groups that you seem to have supported about proportional representation. Yes. They've lost it.
So that's one of the things, that I am perhaps a bit displeased about. Because in terms of how when you follow the logic of the Constitution, the committee, and what they wanted to make Parliament of, I think that the Parliament system can be reformed. And I was a big supporter of the proportional representation. I think that they bring more diversity, some diverse interests into Parliament. No, they're not.
No, again, how can Parliament oversight?
So I was suggesting a mixed method. That's what we represent.
So explain to our viewers what is proportional representation.
So the thinking here is that one of the things we have been looking to unblock is the winner takes all politics. So that when you have I'll come to that. So when you have, in terms of the Parliament, when somebody goes to presidential elections and has a certain percentage of the general vote, a percentage of that will be reflected in terms of parliamentary representation. So, for instance, if a smaller party went and got 13% or 5%, then the composition of Parliament will represent the fact of what they did there. The idea is to be able to enhance more diversity within the parliamentary representation. When you look at from 1992, we had more independent members of Parliament. Now, slowly, the practice is dying out because the nature of the presidential system is that it devolves into a two-party horse race consistently across board. And so that's what we were hoping for, that will change the nature of
And how do you achieve that if those people are not elected by popular vote?
So one of the things that our recommendation was that we have the mixed method. So the mixed method is that you reduce the number of electoral constituencies. So let's say 125 people are elected directly from constituencies, and then there's a mixture that we have the party list, where based on your percentage that you get in the polls, then you get that represented in Parliament. So it's a mixed method of who is coming in.
Right.
Then you can then set even some of the representational issues that it attempts to deal with in terms of the women and other groups, that legislation would then specify and require that in terms of the party list that comes forward, whatever proportion that is coming to win, 50% of them must be or must not be of the same gender. We need people who are representative of a particular class. You can be able to fix all those representational issues within the body of parliament.
Okay, thank you. Bafo was pointing us to a portion where the committee appears to suggest proportional representation.
Page 27.
Page 27.
To enhance opportunities for women, youth, and other politically marginalized groups, including smaller political parties, to gain representation in parliament. The committee endorses proportional representation and recommends to government to commission an independent study and investigations of the suitability of proportional representation for Ghana. But somebody sends a test.
No, but that's not
they're not proposing.
They're not proposing.
They're not proposing.
They endorse. They recommend.
Work in progress.
It's to commission an independent study.
Work in progress.
This is really not actionable.
It's not actionable.
Yeah. All right. Yes.
Somebody
Vicky.
sends a text. Says that a member of parliament. He says that, hey, Honorable Inusa Fuseni, you've been a minister. You don't want other MPs to be ministers.
Yes, Vicky.
Self-interest. I'm against that because I know. And President Kufuor eloquently said that in the go and read the 5th January 2009 report.
Yeah.
You can't be a jack of all trades. You can't be a full-time minister and also a full-time parliamentarian.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
You've seen that because you're out of it now.
Yes.
Of course, Nana will make the argument he's making because he has a vested interest. And I also think that you are comparing apples with pears with the various examples you gave because the systems are different. In terms of making the point about Keir Starmer being hot right now because he's afraid of it, it's got nothing to do with this executive legislature thing, nothing at all. It's because of reform, the surge of, reform in Britain and the movement to the right. And that is causing a whole wave. And it's not peculiar to Britain, it's across the whole European continent. So it's got nothing to do with that. And also, their system is not fraud-proof. They are in the middle of investigating an £11.9 billion fraud that was perpetrated under the Boris Johnson administration during the COVID era. So I don't think those things are applicable to us here.
All right. I'll take a quick break here. I'll be right back. My guests have been Victoria Bright, Oliver Bakavomawo, Professor Adjuan Bafo, Bafo Ajimandria, Inusa Fuseni, and Nana Ejay Bafo Ewa. Earlier, you had Professor Kwesi Prempeh and Charlotte Osei, who don't know about government WhatsApp. It tells you how busy they have been, so they don't follow all the mundane stuff happening around town. We'll be right back.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
So, Charlie, the deal there, I almost get her.
Syntax pipe, as tough as it can get.
You get so sorry with your back, sorry. Oh, what you was that thing? Hey, what the cat never won? You can catch it. Hey! Na ampai.
Uti na ya ke fire nkabo.
Hey, madam, pipe many.
Eh, sentence pipe. Metono, omu ka tell me say ne ho den pa. Say ye fie, say ye foam. The pipe we bia eye ne gam.
Syntax pipe.
Why leaky?
Come, madam. From today, syntax pipe in my pipe. No 2 ways.
When you know, pipe be na be use.
SINTEX pipe.
Syntax pipe.
Ile carry water. No wahala.
Let's talk hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids are normal structures located in the anus of all mammals.
But it is only man who suffers hemorrhoidal disease because of the erect posture we have assumed and the squatting that we do to empty our bowel. Hemorrhoids consist of a special type of blood vessels which fill with blood when we are moving our bowel and help to cushion the anus against the force of transmitting the stool. Afterwards, they empty their blood, collapse, help seal the anus to maintain continence. Over time, these vessels lose the elasticity of their walls, become dilated, permanently filled with blood, leading to congestion of the hemorrhoids. The symptoms of hemorrhoids are bleeding and prolapse of the hemorrhoids when passing stool, itching and feeling of warmth in the anus and anal discharge. Laser, ligature, and longo are the modern, minimally invasive, most effective and painless methods of treating hemorrhoids today.
Mwintuba Hospital, first Ghana Colorectal Center, in to serve a peculiar health need.
Excellent furnishing in a real estate business is a great deal for survival. My struggles as a young estate developer were cut short when I discovered Fernart Ghana. With quality furniture made from the finest woods and amazing after-sale service, Fernart Ghana changed my story with every single home I built. It's a one-stop shop that serves the interests of clients with a variety of living room and dining sets, solid wood kitchen installations, wardrobes, doors, cabinets, beds, pergolas, floor parquets, and many other wooden product that will last a lifetime. With Fernat Ghana, all clients are offered the opportunity to customize furniture to their specifications, and the smile on their faces says it all. Thanks to Fernat, now your home can look beautiful with furniture that would last for generations. Visit Fernat Ghana today and share my story. Locate us at Yaniba Estate, Osu, Accra, or call 0303-966-085 or 055-278-4097. Think wood, think Fernat.
What juice are you taking?
This is Koa Natural 100% cocoa fruit juice.
Can I have a glass?
Of course.
Koa Natural 100% cocoa fruit juice is not just your regular cocoa drink. This is an innovative juice made from the pulp of the cocoa fruit. Once the cocoa pod is harvested, the pulp, which would have been previously discarded, this time is set aside, and that is what is used to make your Koa Natural 100% cocoa fruit juice. Not only is Koa refreshing, the taste is incredible.
Wow.
There is no added sugar, no additives, and no preservatives. 100% cocoa fruit juice. Don't worry, you won't be left out.
Wow, this is unbelievable. I would take this anytime, any day.
When it comes to getting a vehicle as exceptional as a Nissan Z9 or any top-tier brand on your wish list, one name leads the pack: Bowen Darwin Ghana Limited. Located at the Tema Light Industrial Area, the Nissan Z9 is engineered specifically for Ghana's challenging and unpredictable road conditions. From the smooth city stretches to the rugged rural trails, the Z9's two-wheel and four-wheel drive options, 240mm ground clearance, and reinforced suspension system deliver unmatched stability and control. Whether you are navigating potholes, muddy roads, steep inclines, or graveled paths, the Z9 keeps you moving confidently. smoothly. Its full LED lighting system transforms night driving, giving you crisp visibility even through rain, fog, or poorly lit routes, making long-distance travel safer and more stress-free. With advanced safety technologies including anti-lock braking system, electronic stability control, hill assist, and array of cameras, the Z9 ensures you stay protected no matter the weather, terrain, or traffic conditions. Built with a spacious frame, the Z9 carries up to 1.2 tons, making it ideal for business, adventure, and everyday transport. Powered by either a fuel-efficient diesel or petrol engine, it strikes the perfect balance between strength, performance, and economy. Step inside and the experience only gets better. The cabin offers ventilated seats, intelligent storage compartment, cruise control, and premium interior finishes, turning this hard-working pickup into a surprisingly comfortable daily companion. Z9 pickup truck from Nissan. Looking at its unique honeycomb grille and this beautiful LED lights. It's not just for the beauty. It's giving you comfort, yet very tough on the road. Whatever your need is, Z9 pickup truck from Nissan got you covered. Depending on the trim, buyers can choose between two robust engine models, M90 or 4K31, paired with either a 6-speed manual or an 8-speed automatic transmission with multiple drive modes to suit every road and driving style. Beyond the incredible capability and comfort of the Nissan Z9, Bowen-Darwin Ghana Limited offers a full lineup of brands that deliver unforgettable driving experiences. From J-Tour and Haval to even the prestigious Range Rover, there is a vehicle for every lifestyle, every ambition, and every journey. Running out of petrol during your journey shouldn't be a bother. This J-Tour model features a dual powertrain, combining petrol and electric energy to enhance efficiency and performance. So why wait? Call 055 783 3989 and let Bowen-Darwin Ghana Limited transform the way you experience the road.
What does it take to be Ghana's most useful technology company? Is it the fact that we've been connecting businesses to their customers for over 20 years? Or that we power more than 12% of all electronic transactions in Ghana? Maybe it's that we are everywhere, from Accra to Kumasi to Tadi, Cape Coast to Tamale. Or is it that we safely process more transactions than any indigenous tech company here in Ghana? Or we deliver faster, we transfer safer, or we make businesses and life just a little easier? But what truly makes us Ghana's most useful technology company, it isn't the speed or the numbers. It's the people we connect, the dreams we keep moving, the communities we bring closer every single day. You prove every day what usefulness really looks like. We give you the tools, you provide the proof. Haptel, useful
no matter where we wander. Africa always calls us home. And here in Ghana, Stanbic Corporate and Investment Banking, together with clients like Gensa Energy and Goldfields, is driving sustainable growth.
The transition from fossil fuel to cleaner energy is quite imperative for the growth of a continent that we call home.
We want to contribute to delivering affordable gas for industrialization in Africa.
Stanbic is a bank that is focused on impacting lives, and Gensa has the same vision and mission.
Having a reliable source of power has helped our business and our operations in a significant way.
At Stanbic Bank, we bring businesses together, empower communities, and invest in the next generation. Stanbic Corporate and Investment Banking, driving growth, creating impact.
You're welcome back. This is Newsfile, it's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. We'll just have brief comments to conclude this, and then we'll talk about oral, whether it's just political prosecution or it's genuine, as it were, anti-corruption drive that has been going on. You hear Agbagba for on it. Let's now share just a couple of your comments with you. Okay, so someone is asking if you set up the independent ethics and anti-corruption, commission, what will happen to OSP? Yes, in the report it is there. OSP will now collapse into the ethics and anti-corruption body. Kwame Baswa says that do assembly members also get 5 years? How about proper decentralization? I'm not in support of the election of MMDCEs or MCEs. It will be chaotic. Chiefs and influential people will hijack the assembly. Areas with huge population will also get candidates elected as its assembly elections. Okay, then you are too late to the party, because the Afrobarometer reports and surveys that have been done over the years have been consistent. Almost about 80% of Ghanaians want an election. And that's why we're questioning the phased-in approach that the committee is proposing. This one says that Gamel from Awutu Abrachre says, I believe President Kufuor set this committee. President Mills set it. No, President Kufuor didn't set it. He began the processes to want to have it, but he couldn't do it, and Mills came to set it up. And then he said President Mahamadou has set it, Akufo-Addo has set up, and then President Mahamadou has set it up. They all brought out a report and recommendation, and none has been implemented. Ghanaians need action. We need one to make sure the reports are taking effect. You are right about that. Jake has a rather tall one, but let me see if I can read it. It says, I support Yunus of Husseini and Nana Agbagba for a word submission on the extension of the tenure of the president term. Okay, it's actually term, but it also affects the tenure of the president from 4 to 5 years. We are assuming that every president is a good person and wish well for the country. We have seen presidents in the past that have depleted the national kitty and caused so much pain to the citizens before leaving. The citizens wish they could remove the president before his tenure ended, yet they had to painfully endure till the president completed his term. I am not convinced about the answer by Professor Kwesi Prempeh that the people are unlikely to renew the president's mandate when he performs badly in 5 years. The tenure should not be informed by likelihood of renewal, but rather the sustainability of the democracy. We don't want people to give flimsy excuses to overthrow government in this country by citing reasons such as this. Okay, so if you have 5 years, it may cause people to want to overthrow a government they are tired with. Okay, that's why I was suggesting maybe they should look at the impeachment proceedings. If they can reduce the threshold, it may also be helpful. Okay, thanks for those messages. Master Planner Junior, policy analyst Kintampo, he says, reducing the age from 40 to 30 is very important and good for us as a nation. We have so many young, brilliant people below age 40 that can change the fortunes of this country, and age shouldn't be an impediment. On the issue of 5 years for the president, it's insignificant. Whether 4 or 5 years, there wouldn't be so much change. The president will even wish for 6 years if we change it to 5 years. All right? Okay, so maybe we'll come to catch up That's what we are used to. When all others have done it 5 years, then we'll come and play catch up. Or we may just leave it like that. Okay, so what will be your very concluding comments in a minute? Then we move on to oral for the next 20, 30 minutes. Yes, Prof, let's begin with you.
Good on our ways.
So now there's going to be an implementation committee.
Oh, yes.
You have also suggested that you don't want any white paper to cherry pick around it, but Oliver disagrees that you can use it to advantage.
Yes.
So what will be your final comments on?
I think, first of all, I do believe that there's a real political commitment from the executive level to this process, and therefore I'm very hopeful that even if there's a white paper, it won't be to obstruct the process, but perhaps to enhance it and to propel it further for the implementation committee to start its work. There are a few things that are very important, at least for me, which have been deferred by this committee. Because you haven't even discussed this whole notion of devolution of power and the role that chiefs ought to play at the local level.
Yeah, they discuss it.
They discuss it, but it's been deferred to the devolution committee.
That's correct, commission.
Exactly. So for me, perhaps that's one area that in the future we'll have to, and when we get to the implementation level, we have to really be serious about. Other than that, I think that overall I'm very satisfied with the process. I'm very happy with the proposals. Of course, I've expressed some reservations about certain proposals, but the way it is and the popular enthusiasm that I sense amongst the public, not only from the reports you're getting from the audience, but also across board. You hear people expressing some delight about this. So let's hold on to the momentum, and I'm hoping that among the legacies that a future former President Mahama will recall will be supervising over the renewal of our constitutional democracy by reviewing this constitution.
That's real legacy, right?
Yes.
To leave a constitution behind.
I believe so.
Yes, Oliver.
Yeah, let me take the legacy point. I mean, I think if this is to be the president's legacy, then it means that he must superintend the process even more closely.
That's right.
So to show all the right signals at this point is well and good, but the next point of carrying it across to the finish line is perhaps the most important aspect of what the process is. I'm hoping that 7th January, which was, I don't know whether it's still Constitution Day, that is an announcement from the presidency in terms of what the pathway forward is. Whether that looks like an implementation process. Hopefully that retains some of the members of the existing committee. I say this because when CRC finished, we had the implementation committee that had absolutely nothing to do with the old one. Some of us had to spend over months with them, trying to hold them and give them a sense of why we're going in a particular direction. I hope there's a mixed process. I hope there's a mixed, and perhaps even international, with international partners on board, drafting committee that translates these recommendations into drafting language so we're able to see the process. I hope that the presidency is involved and we can know somebody who is leading that process from the presidency as well and helping engage Parliament on the way forward. I think that I know that, for instance, the MPP has appointed a committee to look into this. I want Parliament itself to have a committee that studies and thinks about the way forward so that we don't retreat into partisan echo chambers.
That's right.
But that there's a joint way forward about this. Because I genuinely believe that if Parliament sits together with this document, they will see that there's way more in it for them that liberates Parliament. And I think I'm hoping that that's kind of what I want to see by 7th of January.
Funding problems. They have told us initially if they were going to wait for President Mahama to set up his government, they would have started late. Yeah. They had to go looking for funding from partners to begin the process, waiting for the government to now have its budget and so on. Your committee had a similar situation.
Challenge as well.
Eventually, when you finished, you were told that everything valued was about $6.3 million US. The funding.
Yeah. So the funding is very interesting because time and time again we've seen government set up committee. In fact, I think the original mandate was 60 days, 2 months, right? Yeah. For this committee to work. By which time they had not been given a penny by the government. So we see this happen over and over. And I think that commitment on 7th January from the presidency that there has to be financial commitment that backs the process. We need to evaluate what it would cost to be able to have the conversation, to resource the NCC, to lead the conversation in public education, for the Electoral Commission to begin the framework of what a referendum would look like and how we want that to set up, because I've had certain engagements, and I tell you, there's so much even in terms of how we should ask the questions at the referendum. The questions as to whether or not we can hold it over a couple of days. The questions of whether or not we can do it electronically. The questions as to whether or not we need to translate it. How do you deal with people with disability to be able to go and vote? Are they going to be the tactile for blind people to be able to read? So these are all questions that means that we must already get on the front foot on this. And I'm sincerely hoping that these are things that we prioritize.
Yes, Bafo, you have worked with this at the personal level. You have been invited to make your contributions at the level of the parliament with your group. You have also met the committee, done your stuff, and now a report has been presented, summary. The complete report that you desire will also be submitted. And I realize that you have read it a lot more thoroughly, thoroughly than most of us may have done. What are you looking at? Finishing the marathon. So
we must finish, but I expect the government to react to it, and it must be the most critical part of it, the most crucial, that will transform our constitution and not just anything. For instance, there is a provision in here about intersex. The fact that a child born intersex will not have the situation corrected, right, unless it borders on a matter of life and death. In summary, that's what it is. We know that these things can be an opening for the entrance of LGBT.
Do you want to read it? Because it's very controversial.
I think because I was part of those conversations as well, and I know that the question of the intersex is about the physical.
But why must it be in a constitution?
Go to it and let's read.
Go to it and let's read.
Because the children's rights should be dealt with by a Children's Act.
Sorry, the Constitution
by a Children's Act.
The Constitution Review Commission. The Constitution Review Commission has said that the subject should be left to the Supreme Court.
No. Oh, come on.
You want to sneak this into the Constitution?
No. Bafo, can you do this? Can you do this?
Actually,
before we throw up something that becomes the topic that overshadows the discussion, can we go to the specific?
No, wait.
Let's go for the specific. Once you're looking for it, let me go to Vicky. Yes.
So
it's been midwife up to this point. How do we?
I think that if the president can pull it off in a way which transforms, that strengthens our institutions and transforms the landscape, the current landscape for development, it would be a good legacy for him. Now, I mean, various comments have been made about various aspects, and I'll just mention maybe 2 or 3 of them. The 30-year limit, I agree with it.
Let's Vicky finish.
The 30-year limit, I agree with it, because the world has changed a lot since our constitution was written. And if you look at people who are making impact, not just in their countries, but globally, a lot of them are very, very young. So, and also our own demographics, most of our population are youthful people. So I think they need to be given the opportunity to represent us. If you can present yourself as a 30-year-old to Ghanaians and they vote for you, then you obviously have what it takes. The 10-year term for the EC and then the 2 proposed new deputies, I think what I'll say about that is that letting them all go at once is a problem. I think we will have to stagger their tenure, because if we don't do, elections are not episodic. They are cumulative and they develop over time. So that whole institutional knowledge cannot just be swept out at once. So if we allow the top leadership to go, then we will have a problem. And I think that for me, we've already talked about the 5-year term and all of that. One thing I like is the fact that the people are now going to be given a right, a constitutional right to participate in legislation making. And this is something that's not peculiar. It's not saying that Parliament must make laws by referenda, no. It's just allowing people to actually practice the democracy that we all preach. And it's not peculiar to Ghana. Other countries do it all the time, and it has worked for them. So I think all in all, for me, these are the key things that I would say.
All right, so now let's go to chapter 6.
Okay. So Article 28 should be amended to provide for the right of...
So let our viewers follow us because it's controversial.
Yes.
This is in chapter 6 at page what?
105.
105.
105.
Thank you.
105.
And
104, 105.
That's right.
Okay.
And what has necessitated this, because you went to Vicky, must be revisited. I said that the president should issue a white paper to react to some of the things in here so that we know whether he accepts it or not. There ought to be widespread education so that the citizens also know what they are voting for.
Right.
One of them is this. Article 28 should be amended to provide for the right of every child to bodily integrity, including freedom from irreversible, non-consensual medical or surgical interventions that are not strictly necessary to preserve life or prevent serious and immediate harm, that the best interest of the child shall override social, cosmetic, cultural, or expediency-based justification for invasive medical procedures for protection for intersex children. It means that as a parent, when I have an intersex child, I don't even have a right to determine whether or not the situation should be normalized until the child grows up to make that decision. Parents should know what they are going to vote for in this referendum. And so the president should react to this. If he accepts it, then the people of Ghana will know that the president has accepted this. But what they have to know is that in many countries, this becomes the foundation for certain things. And that should be known. Going forward, let me finish with my submission. Samson, also...
It was supposed to be a minute's conclusion. Go ahead.
Samson, thank you very much. You're far too kind. We need to appreciate that when you talk of government oversight, it is not like litigation where somebody must win and somebody should lose. It is, cooperation, relationship building by the executive and all the other arms of government. For instance, recently, we saw Honorable Mahama Ayariga and my very good friend, Dafia Mopo, say that they want to use a private member's bill to abolish the OSP. The president then said, I am requesting that you withdraw that position. That is cooperation between the executive and the legislature, right? And that oversight should not be war. And we shouldn't think that oversight, because we haven't seen that somebody is holding the neck of the executive, oversight is not happening.
Okay.
There have been instances where oversight has happened under the current regime. Look, under President Rawlings's regime, just before he left power, two Supreme Court nominees were rejected by Parliament. If you recall, I've forgotten their name.
Are you on the
okay? So thank you.
Let's look at. We need a constitution that will foster cooperation between all arms of government,
right,
and not
that's
one
fair.
that is cast in cement.
Oh, that's fair.
You understand?
Okay, thank you.
So if you don't mind.
Yes, I really mind. I wanted you to.
Because the issue here is that the incidence of intersex children, which are children who are born where it is not immediately discernible whether they are male or female, is something that happens by nature.
Yes.
What we are seeing is that people, for cultural reasons, afraid of stigma, go and force surgeries on these children. When, later on in life, there are people who, because they are male, or later on the male part will become more prominent later on, were forced, and vaginal canals were then constructed for them, which obstruct the ability to even urinate and all things which are damaging of the individual. We're saying that these are medical decisions that must be made, not parents using cultural basis to demand for surgeries to be imposed on children. So that's what this provision
and that should be in the Constitution.
Okay.
No, you should read what the Constitution. Hold on. It says here.
First of all, let him read. Read it again.
Recommends targeted constitutional amendments affecting Articles 28, 50, and 30 of the Constitution, together with mandatory consequential legislative duties imposed on Parliament as follows. So that's what it's saying, that what it is doing, that it is requiring 28 to clarify and give a mandate to Parliament.
You need
to have done consistently.
Okay. Legislative.
First of all, that legislation will be enough. It shouldn't be the Constitution.
Thank
That's
you.
the point I'm making.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's your turn.
From the discussion and the disclosure, you need to get our listeners to understand that there was no attempt, deliberate or by accident, to import into the constitutional amendment.
But it is there.
No.
It is there.
Nana, please. Yes, Inusa, let's hear.
Import into the Constitution the LGBT.
He said so.
That's what he said. There's no that. Secondly, you are looking at the protection of the interests of the child. Fundamental. And the protection is going to manifest itself in a way as to prevent invasive attacks on the personality or nature of a child by parents. So, like this man has, Oliver has said, this is supposed to be a medical decision. And so, what the committee is recommending is that the Children's Act be amended to reflect that. So, there must not be an invasive attack on the personality of a child at birth. And you can understand it when you put it side by side with female genital mutilation. You can understand it that way. So it is not LGBT.
Right.
So let me conclude. So His Excellency John Dramani Mahama must own.
So actually, if anything at all,
yes,
this is actually the opposite.
The opposite.
What is that actually?
Okay, against LGBT activity.
It
Okay.
prevents any trans.
I'm reading and asking a question. Nana, please.
A spin on it.
No, I'm not putting a spin.
No, it's allowed to put a spin on it.
I'm not putting a
what
spin.
I'm saying is that
this is interpretation.
First of all, John Dramani Mahama, the president, must own it. If he actually intends that this be part of his legacy and must drive the process.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, and it must be inclusive. It must cut across partisan political lines. He must get people to support the process. And he must do it with some level of intentionality.
That's right.
You see, we must own the Constitution. This is what the first provision after the Universal Creed, we the people, in exercise of our inalienable rights. So all of us must invest in the process. And John Dramani Mahama must lead it. Vicky, you were not at the Jimpa 2 years ago. I was there at the Law Week celebration. And the students said that there was a fundamental fallacy in our Constitution. That wisdom and knowledge resided in only the ages.
That's scripture.
Yeah, so they said, so we need to address that. Before even these people came, the Constitution Review Committee was established, they said we needed to address that. And Denmark has shown the way. A 30-year-old has been elected prime minister.
Okay, thank you very much. And this show, as always, is brought to you by Bank of Africa, strong as a group and close as a partner, MTN everywhere you go. Ashesi University, educating ethical and entrepreneurial leaders for Africa. Robert & Sons Optical Services, your comprehensive eye care service provider for 33 plus years. My Way Insurance, dial *165# on MTN to join My Way today. Syntex Tanks, it's strong, it's tough. Activa International Insurance. Our clients are Passion International Facilities Management Association. They are proud to be associated with Newsfile. Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature. Gold Ball Jewelry, pure, precious, proudly Ghanaian, and Koa Natural Juice, 100% cocoa fruit that you need to get. And every Saturday when I sit here, I'm often clothed by Habil's Couture. You can call them 0200 84 1988, 0200 84 1988. They'll give you the best of kaftans. And the holiday season is still on. So if you want to sow something nice for a friend, for a parent, for a relative, this is how you can go about it. So now the Attorney General, the day this report was submitted, he had done one of his presses that morning before the report was submitted. And in this, he told us a number of things, that the oral investigations are still ongoing. Those who think that, it is getting stopped somewhere, it's not true. Things are going on, except that when you feel that the things are being delayed, it is not exactly the case. He wants to be painstaking because other institutions are brought into the investigation process. The GRA and other institutions, he actually gave them a warning that if he gives them work and they delay in the next year, they should know that he will come at them. So they should do things fast to help oral to be as fast as it ought to be. Then he made the announcement. Bernard Entry, Boesiakon, issues regarding some, projects that monies have gone from the Exim Bank, is it? And then the Percival Kofi Apolu, founder of the Liberal Party of Ghana, the 2024 presidential candidate, also is going to suffer some charges for fraudulent misrepresentation involving about 3.1 million Ghana cedis. Bernard Boesiakon, the NPP's chairman, Ashanti Region, Wontumi Farms Limited, was highlighted. Also, matters of fraudulent misrepresentation involving about 24 million Ghana cedis. So that's about it. Going into the next year, he's going to be filing the charges and so on and so forth. But he's taking a flak again for continuing with these and pronouncing people guilty. Is that really the situation? What shall we do about that? Oliver, you have been sitting on social media, and once in a while you say you want oral to make you happy by announcing that they have arrested somebody and they are chasing someone. The way they are doing it is being faulted.
From the beginning, I've always said that I'm a big supporter of the press conferences. I'm a big supporter of the level of getting the public interested in what is happening, providing information as to the stage of this recovery process. I've consistently said, and which is missing so far, that there has to be a dedicated government platform where people can be able to see the stages of the various investigations and reports, and also even in terms of what is happening in the courts, that the public have a right to know and become more interested in this. It's central to how we save the Fourth Republic. I believe that so many people have come to just believe that the Fourth Republic doesn't take enough steps to be able to sanction the political class and in some of the corruption that goes on. So this is to be able to renew faith in the project. Now, that said, I've also consistently been one which said that enough is not being done to build the institutional capacity of the various actors, institutions that are involved in the corruption investigations to be able to enable prosecutions. I don't think that we have the capacity still yet in terms of prosecutorial capacity and investigative capacity to be able to see this through. I've said that, so far you see the fact that the vast majority of the people that we are seeing being talked about are also perhaps political appointees, which is leaving out a critical belt of public officers. And a lot of these things cannot happen without public officer involvement, showing it's already an indication to me that the expanse of the investigative capacity, the expanse of prosecutorial capacity does not currently exist. So these are things that for me, going into the next year, I want to see happen. So far, it hasn't happened. When we see the Attorney General talking about other institutions not need to be able to up their game, it tells me that there's a central problem. That how do you centralize these institutions to work across departments, to work across agencies, to be able to allow these things to happen.
As a defense attorney, are you concerned about what people are raising?
Yeah.
That people are pronounced guilty already, even before they are charged.
Yeah.
You know, as we said, like I mentioned last week, it's almost as if we have concluded that Kenneth Foriata is a thief.
Yeah.
But no court has pronounced him a thief.
Yeah. So this is what I believe. As somebody who has been accused until to this day, a lot of people still believe that I intend to overthrow the government. I understand that the process, no matter how you say it, and no matter how you guarantee individual innocence, it never goes away. I understand that. But I do think that there's a balance to be drawn where the public is being informed that investigations, and this is what the investigations have revealed, and that by tomorrow or the next day we have filed charges, that it cannot be so disconnected as to make people create a sense of whether or not this is down for public information purposes or this is an update on prosecutorial actions that are being taken. The AG's role is to prosecute. So people inform us that these are things that have happened, this is what we have uncovered, and for which reason we have filed these charges. For me, that's fine. Now, there's a manner in which you may be able to conduct it that makes people believe whether or not it's a conclusion on the guilt of the individuals or whether or not you have injured the person so much that they cannot be rehabilitated. There's a line to be drawn here. But, and it's interesting that we had talked about, the conversation around Abu Trika backstage and some of this. Institutions released statements which said that a criminal has been arrested. There was not a single noise from anybody that said that this person is innocent. And even the process in Ghana does not lead to anything that leads to establishing his guilt. Trial has not even started for him. But state institutions issued statements calling him a notorious criminal. Institutions who have never arrested him in this country, investigated him or reached any conclusion based on somebody saying that we want to file charges on him. But for some reason, our appetite and our remembrance of constitutional guarantee of innocence is the most heightened when it comes to the political class, but not for any other individual. And that, for me, speaks to a particular hypocrisy around this whole conversation. If we are comfortable for anybody else to be so stigmatized, then we should not become strong defenders of the Constitution when it only affects the political class. That's my thinking. So there's a way in which we can discuss individuals and how individuals who are brought into the criminal line. I don't think that the line to be drawn is that the public should not be informed of investigations.
But in informing them, look at the questions that are being raised. How you talk about how deliberately people have attempted to defraud. Yeah. He talks about going to his farm, checking on tractors, invoices, Percival Kofi Palu, how a company, is formed to mimic the other one, and they use that to take money. And people say this evidence should be in the courtroom and not to the public. You poison them against the individuals.
No, you see, the truth is that if all of this, even charges, once filed into the courtroom, become public documents.
That's right.
Everything that you have deposed in there are still not proven, whether or not they have been, whatever it is. And when journalists go, anybody goes to the court and gets those access and publishes them, these are things which will still raise questions about an individual.
Right.
It's not just the press conference bringing light to it that does anything peculiar.
Right.
But for me, and one of the things I always said, for instance, when I was charged, was that the trial never happened. That I never got the opportunity to be able to clear my name.
Right.
And for me, that is where the bigger thing I am interested in. That people who charges are raised against, we need to be able to fast track the process by which...
We ran out of time, Nana. And you see, he has an experience. And there were people who got to me and say, that's your friend there. You see, he's been caught for doing... I said, what has he done? And there were actually people who suggested, you need to dissociate yourself if you want to keep your integrity from him. And I said, what has he done? Has he stolen your money?
Yes. Listen, my first point is that Oliver says that going after former appointees is refreshing because it's a form of accountability. I agree. When you hold political office, you should account. But it's not refreshing, right, unless there is a non-discrimination policy. If you file an early prosecutor in respect of your party members and go after members of another political party, that is a clear case of witch hunting. That is a clear case of insincere fight against corruption. And the very day the Attorney General did that, he lost the moral authority to fight, to do any genuine prosecution. And I'm not surprised that you can tell some struggle on his part. Look, he comes out to do all these press conferences, but when it comes to disclosures, he's struggling to disclose. If you have such depth of information which you can present to the public, then you should have the information readily available to disclose to the other side. But you can tell he struggles to do that. That in and of itself is problematic. You see, you mentioned the case of Ken Ofori-Atta. And now he's telling us that Ken Ofori-Atta has gone for good lawyers abroad. Why? You were expecting that Ken Ofori-Atta will not defend himself, right? You expect that he'll go for good lawyers. But that is why you also have to have a watertight case against him. Because it is not in our court where the Attorney General walks in and have his way. It is only in Ghana. It doesn't happen in most of the advanced democracies. And so it's like they are, even with the state attorneys, right? They come in and you realize that there's some lack of preparedness in terms of even disclosure and so on and so forth. But my brother Oliver, I know what you went through. Let me say this to you. Let's be very honest with ourselves. Do you think that you can take the key of a police vehicle from its ignition in any serious country and get away with it?
That's another debate.
Yes, you can't.
We don't have time.
You see, you can never do that in America.
I didn't get away with it.
Therefore, you've lived in America.
I understand.
You can never take the key to an ignition of a vehicle in America and go scot-free. Okay. They will shoot you. The police will shoot you.
Right.
It's unfortunate. Let's begin to make certain admissions and build this country. You see, we can't, in the name of making sure right things are done, do the wrong thing. It was absolutely wrong.
Thank you. Our time is up. My other guest.
I don't know what the point there is.
We can't be hypocritical.
Okay.
It's a question of hypocrisy.
My other guest had already suggested, gentlemen, my other guest had already suggested that the two of you should deal with this matter. But I see them putting their hands up, and our time is up. Just 30 seconds, please. Our time is up.
What is the truth?
No, that's what you're hoping for.
Yes. Gentlemen, please.
Oral is a central axis of the research agenda. Everybody is acutely aware that before election 2024, many things were happening in this country which simply were unacceptable. The Auditor General's report on the utilization of the COVID funds is a case in point. If you are given political office, it's a privilege. And after your tenure, or even during your tenure, if you are called to account, you owe it a duty.
People don't have issues with that. They're asking about the manner in which it is done. I'm sorry, but
I asked you a question. You wanted the Attorney General to just wake up one day and say, I'm prosecuting Wuntumi, or
without informing the public. Okay. My guests have been Victoria Bright, who is an international corporate lawyer and entrepreneur. Oliver Bakavomowo is constitutional rights and policy strategy advisor to the Democracy Hub. He was previously also with the Constitution Review Commission under Professor Fiajo. Professor Bafo Ajumandua is former UN Senior Governance Advisor. Inus Hussaini is former MP Tamale Central and former Minister Lands and Natural Resources. He was also in charge of roads at a point. Nana Ejei Bafoewa is Vice Chair, Subsidiary Legislation Committee and Member, Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. I'm Samson Ladianyanini. Have a good afternoon. Merry Christmas.
Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner.
Where Duraplas goes, water flows.
PS Industries has introduced a new roofing system known as Colorlink Plus. Flamingo paint, simply superior. Syntax tank, are you strong? Are you tough?
Cherry Tree Properties. We develop spaces as though we were going to occupy them.
Hello there, my name is Adobia. Let me ask you a question. Are you thinking of making your home complete? I'm talking about kitchen, exterior safety security doors, interior beautifully designed doors, kitchenettes, islands, walk-in wardrobes, everything you need to make your home complete. I know just the place, Superlock. I'm going to meet some friends in there and they're going to tell us what you and I need to know about what they have to offer. Come with me.
So Superlock is a company that has been in the country for a very long time, over 20 years. We are into home furnishing. I mean, when you talk about home furnishing, we're talking about the security doors, balustrades, we are talking about pergolas, we are talking about internal doors, we are talking about the glazing works. I mean, everything about finishing the home. I mean, what do you call it, carports, gates, garage doors, kitchens, we come in the picture here, and we do all these things. So that's Superlock. But you see, Superlock is into the finishing and it's into the quality. Okay. Superlock is into after-sales services, meaning after you've bought the doors, you've bought our product, whatever that you've bought, anytime you have a challenge with it, you call us and we come and sort it out for you. It's free of charge. Anywhere in the country, we do that. So Superlock is really doing amazing stuff. So I will start with this. Okay. It's one of our doors, one of our prestigious doors, the main entrance as well. And with the doors, we have security doors and we have internal doors. Now, when you talk about the security doors, we are talking about the external doors to secure the home, and we have it here. All these are security doors, and external, exactly. And it's made of galvanized steel, coming all the way from Israel, and we all know how